Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. Nigeria has recorded a fresh case of the deadly Ebola virus. Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu disclosed that one of the doctors that treated the late Liberian-American Patrick Sawyer in Lagos has contracted the disease. He spoke on the sidelines of the inauguration of an Ebola treatment and research team.
As at today, we have the first of those health personnel who has now become Ebola positive and is being treated as such. So, if we are keeping records, this is now the second case of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria. So this new case is one of the doctors who attended to the patient who imported Ebola virus disease into Nigeria. As I speak, also 3 others who participated in that treatment who are currently symptomatic have had their samples taken, and hopefully by the end of today, we should have the result of their own test. So 2 cases so far. 1 dead, 1 is alive, and is being managed as a case of Ebola virus disease.
The General Overseer of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, Pastor Temitope Joshua, says he is ready to partner with the federal and Lagos state government to help curb the spread of the deadly Ebola virus. Abiola Oluwole was at the meeting between the pastor and government's medical team. His report is presented from our studio.
Since the reported case of Ebola virus in Lagos, the government and some professionals have been strategizing on how to prevent the spread of the disease in Nigeria. The joint medical team of the federal government, Lagos state government, and representative of the World Health Organization visited the Synagogue Church of All Nations to seek the collaboration of Pastor Temitope Joshua on the best way to advise against seeking spiritual help in treating the killer disease.
We have so far an imported case of Ebola, and our duty is to make sure that it doesn't escape into Nigerians. We are not doubting the power that God has given you. We can't do that, but we can help and work with you to even make it stronger. So our mission is to come here, exploit ways through which we can work together to make sure that this thing does not explode.
Being a church that attracts followership across the West African sub-region and other parts of the world, sensitizing the leadership of the Synagogue Church of All Nations is critical in the fight against Ebola disease.
The federal government and state government are working hand in how to control this, how to contain this. We have our strategies, and we said we needed to share with you. Again, we need to assess what resources you have, because the population here, whether it's 1 case or 2 cases, if you allow this to go out, it's a major problem. That's why we are here to work together on how to contain the spread of this disease.
Pastor T.B. Joshua expressed his readiness to join force with government on how to checkmate the spread of the virus, but maintained that his church does not have congregation in Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone that are currently ravaged with the disease.
I want to assure you once again that if I have any message for this issue, their president is there, I will go there. Because I know what it means if somebody come from airport to Nigeria, from the airport to get here, innocent people. I understand that. So, I mean, I want to assure you, please, you need to know my heart for this nation.
According to medical experts, there is no known medical cure for the deadly Ebola virus.
The Director General of the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, Paul Ori, has reassured the public that NAFDAC will sustain its fight against counterfeit products. Ori gave the reassurance while parading some suspects arrested for product counterfeiting. Anita Fatuji has more.
Were arrested for illegal production and sale of cosmetic products. They are Emmanuel Ume, Otutu Frederick, and Okoye Chikelu. During the raid, cake preservatives, glycerin, edible spirit, brandy 501, and unlabeled cosmetics were recovered. The Director General of NAFDAC, Paul Ohi, says the suspects usually carry out their activities on Sundays, believing that NAFDAC surveillance and monitoring activities are limited to weekdays.
The risk to public health from adulterated and unwholesome processed foods cannot be neglected because the outcomes will be dangerous and even fatal to consumers. The suspect believes that NAFDAC surveillance and monitoring activities are limited to weekdays. But unknown to him is that we are out there 24 hours every day, and even on Sunday, we still do make arrests.
He emphasized that fake and counterfeit cosmetic products are harmful to the skin and could pose the risk of skin cancer to unsuspected users.
The two suspects have been interrogated and the offending products have been sampled against them for full appropriate evaluation. It needs to be emphasized that fake products and counterfeit products, cosmetic products are deleterious to the skin and could pose the risk of skin cancer to unsuspecting users. NAFDAC will therefore bring the full weight of the law to bear on anyone or group of persons involved in the illegal production and sale of any NAFDAC-regulated product in order to safeguard public.
He, however, reassured the public of the agency's resolve to sustain the fight against fake and counterfeit products. Or he thanked the public for their support. Anita Fatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The police insists that the suspected Boko Haram chief Bocha, Muhammad Zakari, is still in custody. This, they say, is contrary to reports that the whereabouts of the suspect is generating tension in security circles. The police made the clarification through its Twitter handle in response to CoreTV News inquiry. It noted that Zakari is being interrogated in an undisclosed security facility. Zakari was arrested in the aftermath of a counter-insurgency operation in Bamu Forest in Bauchi State last month. United States President Barack Obama plans to host an unprecedented gathering of African leaders this week. One of the issues to be discussed is the security threat posed by Boko Haram. This report seeks to evaluate the solutions anticipated from the summit. The report. In an audacious attack that stunned the world, Islamist group Boko Haram in April kidnapped over 250 schoolgirls from Chibok in northeastern Nigeria. Over recent years, the organization's fight to create an Islamic state has left over 10,000 dead. To this day, 219 Chibok girls are still missing, and a massive operation in the region by the Nigerian army has done little to restore security.
There's a risk at the moment because Boko Haram operates in the northeastern border region of Nigeria. There is a risk to countries around it. It's known that Boko Haram insurgents do move across borders quite easily, particularly into Niger, Chad, Cameroon, each of the neighbors.
On the other side of the continent, another militant Islamist organization, Al-Shabaab, continues to wage its own war. Driven out of the Somali capital, Mogadishu, in 2011 by African Union troops, the Al-Qaeda-linked group controls swaths of rural Somalia and is wreaking havoc in neighboring Kenya. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the bloodbath at Nairobi's Westgate shopping mall in 2013 and for several attacks around the tourist island of Lamu. The two groups may have similar methods but are nevertheless distinct.
This is a really important point, this difference between Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram. And they grew out of different contexts, different environments, different drivers. And certainly Al-Shabaab it's more international in the sense of its activities. And also if you look at the geography of the regions, Al-Shabaab is very much more closer to the Gulf. It has more access to other groups and so on. So it's a rather different situation.
In Africa's Sahel and Sahara region, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb carry out regular attacks on targets deemed opposed to their radical Islamist views. At a time when Africa is opening up to increased international investment, the fight against Islamist militancy is stepping up. Whether anti-piracy operations around the Horn of Africa or counter-insurgency operations on the ground, Africa's radicals are being at best contained but not beaten. And with vast tracts of sparsely populated land in which to train and recruit, they continue to offer marginalized and poor young men the chance to join groups that not only offer an ideology but money.
A governorship debate tagged Osun Decides 2014 took place in Osogbo, the Osun state capital, but incumbent Governor Rauf Aregbesola, PDP governorship candidate Iyolo Mishore and Fatai Akinbade were absent. Social Democratic Party candidate Segun Akinwusi says he's in the race for the youth, while Ibrahim Adeoti says he will overhaul the state of Osun. Adewusi focused on education, saying he will make it affordable for all.
You know that the whole center of any government to be the people. Because when you build infrastructure, you build everything, you need people to build such infrastructure. And so we are taking the interest of the people to our heart.
The reason why I'm doing this is my commitment to service. All I've done in my adult life is to serve. Be it the head of the student union when I was studying in Russia, or be it when I became the youngest member of the Afenifere, the World Congress of Afenifere in the United States.
But we know the visible, the present circumstance. Yes. I know the economy of this state. I've been in the men's like I told for 25 years. I work on that 16 record. Even today, the problem that is on ground, the quantum of debt that this state has, it's not going to be feasible for government to make influence free at that level. But I just believe that because of equity, because of the need to take care of indigenous students and all the rest, we may have to reduce the school fees drastically that it will be affordable.
Function instead of making it free.
No, yes, affordable to make it affordable. You know, for example,
as a very active parent in the life of my child, I'll make sure the Osun parents are very active in the decision-making process that happens in the public schools. Now, talking about higher education, I'm going to make it free. Quote me, F-R-E-E with exclamation mark, capital letter. It's been done already. I'm not saying this for politics.
Well, thank you so much. I'd like to stop you there, but just before that.
Meanwhile, organizers of the governorship debate in Osun condemned the action of the candidates of the major political parties in the governorship election. They accused the leading candidates of denying the people of Osun an opportunity to hear their plans and make informed decisions.
As a candidate, if you don't come and cater to those youth, those educated youth, then you really don't have the population in.
As young people of this state, we have a very large population, and this is the time to begin to say, if we want to copy democracy, we must copy all the good things around it. So if we are calling them for a debate and they are running away or shying away, what they mean is the youths are not important to them and they can go to hell with their votes.
But we will continue to provide the platform as long as we can, and hope over the years the culture of debate will begin to matter, because at the end of the day, debates are about ideas.
Members of various political parties have continued to switch camps ahead of the August 9 governorship election. The defection of an APC stalwart from Ikiri local government to the PDP has been described by the party as the signal heralding a major change. Frank Omalape has more.
The trend of defection started with the shocking announcement of Senator Isiaka Adeleke earlier in the year. While some have left the PDP to the ruling APC, a host of others have also defected to the PDP. One of such recent defections is that of Olawe Falabi.
Like the Yoruba used to say, Oju Onoto Eyefo Life Arabara. He's in his own party, I am in my own party. In no way do we have anything in common, and in no way do we disturb each other. The choice now is between me and my people to choose which side they want to go, because they know I cannot lead them astray. I'm sure they are ready to go along with me.
The PDP described the defection as a sign of the change that is coming with the August 9 election.
What I see is that there is a trend for change, especially in the Southwest. If you notice very well, there had been a vacuum in the leadership setup of the Yorubas. Unfortunately for us, those people aspiring to lead us don't have that type of integrity. And they want to impose themselves on the Yorubas. And that's why people now say, no, we won't accept that.
In its quest to wrest power from the ruling All Progressives Congress, the PDP says that the power of grassroots politics will be a major factor in the coming election.
They will determine what's going to happen. And I will focus on that woman. Because women say if you can, educate a woman, you're educating the whole nation. And women are kind of the backbone of the community, of the family to start with. So the way I'm looking at it is that grassroots policy is going to play a big role.
Okay. The PDP boasted that there will be more defections from the opposition party before the election.
You will see a kind of, how do I call it, whether tsunami or whatever one can use to describe the rate and the volume of the wavelengths that will follow. But you see, the problem with them is that some of them, they are undecided. But when they see the true picture of everything, they will drift.
While the APC seems to be losing members, the party says it is not threatened by any defection. The party reiterated its confidence in winning the election.
Whether it will discourage or not, you are the judge of that. From what you have seen here, did you see a discouraged crowd? Did you see any crowd that is intimidated? Did you see any crowd that have any fear of failure? These are people set for victory.
The governorship election is just a few days away, and some analysts wonder how defections at this time will affect the outcome of the election. Frank Omalape, CoreTV News, Oshobo.
The people of Moro Town and its environs in Ife North local government area of Osun State have called on the federal government to ensure a regular supply of electricity. Rashid visited the area and filed in this report.
One of the basic necessities of life very much cherished by all Nigerians, including those in the hinterland, is regular electricity supply. Little wonder then that the people of Moro community in Ile-Ife North local government of Osun State and its environs were overjoyed when Governor Rauf Aregbesola commissioned transformers and power distribution substation in the community. A PHCN official, Billy Francis, recounted the people's ordeal with electricity supply before Osun State's intervention.
Between July 2012 to December, there's a total blackout in this part of Origbo. One of the transformer, 2.5 MVA transformer, serving the communities, back off. But with the intervention of this government, they brought this 7.5 MVA to these communities. Since then, they are really enjoying supply.
Local businesses, especially those whose sources of operation depend solely on electricity, explains how difficult it was for them to produce when the transformers were not installed. With a supply of electricity substation and transformers to these communities, one would expect that a sustainable relief has come their way. However, irregular supply of electricity from the national grid have rendered the newly acquired substation and transformers close to useless. The people of the community have constantly called on the federal authorities, who has the control on the national grid, to make the much desired substation work effectively.
There are some circumstances on it because we have a problem at Osogbo. That's why we are still enjoy the supply.
Being the cause, I don't know why. They should just look for a way to help us make this light stable. We need federal government to help us make light stable from their own axis, since the state government has done theirs.
A youth corper, Godwin Abata, advised the federal government to take a cue from Osun State government in the provision of stable power supply in the country.
Government keep on doing something like this, even just in the federation, not only in Osun State or Ile-Ife, nationwide.
As political campaigns fill the air in Osun State, projects like this are regarded as testimonial for the government of the day. In a few days' time, the people will troop out to cast their votes for the candidate of their choice in the state's governorship election. It will soon be revealed to all if works like this have a positive influence on the chances of the incumbent. Rashid, CoreTV News, Moro, Ife North Local Government Area of Osun State.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
On August 9th, the people of Osun will head to the polls. Who will emerge the next governor of Osun State?
I'm the legitimate authority to govern this state.
20 candidates are hoping for the mantle.
Winning is not the problem, but the grace of God.
But only the people have the power to decide.
These are my people who will vote en masse for Omishori.
Join CoreTV News for an extensive live coverage of the elections, interviews, studio discussions, and more. Live on August 9th, 2014. You can also watch us live online at www.coretvnews.com. CoreTV News, our 24 hours news station.
Thank you for being there. Poachers have devised new methods to outsmart rangers seeking to stop the illegal killing of elephants in Kenya. Trade in the tusks of elephants have endangered the African species of the animal and affected wildlife in Kenya. The report.
As the government deploys more rangers, poachers here are using increasingly sophisticated methods to get around them.
We're also getting more money in the trade, and unfortunately that is fueling the use of more technologies that, such as, you know, in South Africa they're using helicopters and night vision goggles. We're starting to see some of those things used here.
Poaching isn't the only problem here. The land has been devastated by decades of slash and burn agriculture by farmers and charcoal burners seeking a quick buck.
Climate change is already having an effect here on the local communities. The whole Tsavo ecosystem is a very dry area, so water is always in short supply, but especially now with the effects of climate change, we see that droughts are prolonged, they're more frequent.
However, a pioneering UN-backed project set by non-profit organization Wildlife Works is helping prevent climate change and preserve the forests. Farmers can earn carbon credits by conserving and replanting trees, with a cash exchange of credits supporting nearly 100,000 rural Kenyans. The money has helped support projects like tree nurseries as well as anti-poaching schemes.
It is the developed countries that are responsible for the mess. And we continue insisting as developing countries that they must take immediate and drastic steps to correct the problem.
In a deeply poor region, the project earns each person around $270 a year and helps them see value in the environment and as well transforming the lives of the locals. It is hoped it will also protect those of the elephants.
That's the news for CoreTV News at 7. Another time to join me is 9:45 for the primetime news. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.